Hello and welcome to jasonnewland.com. My name's Jason Newland. Please only listen to this groovy recording when you can safely close your eyes. Now, I'm going to focus on reducing chronic pain. That's what this recording's about. Only listen to this when you found out the cause of the discomfort and with permission from your doctor. Okay? So this is Let Me Bore Your Pain Away. I've done a few of these. I think this is number 18. I'm not going to focus on any particular part of the body with this one. The last one I did, I focused on shoulder, frozen shoulder. This is just going to be, it's not going to be vague, but you can listen to this recording and Vinny in the background chomping on his bone. It's not a euphemism. And really how it works is this. I just chat. And you notice how the part of your body feels like now as we're starting the recording. So maybe give it a judgment 0 out of 10, 0 being nothing, 10 being a big old ouch. And then at the end of the recording, we can revisit that scale and see how much it's changed. I may discuss certain techniques that you may be able to play around with, but ultimately I'm just going to talk, and it will be a case of boring that part of your body so that you feel more relaxed. I mean, generally you'll feel more relaxed all over. Your mind will slow down, and that's kind of just what naturally happens. You may even fall asleep, so that's why I say at the beginning, only listen when you can safely close your eyes. So if you're a pilot on an airline, please don't listen to this till you get home or till you get into the airport, or maybe not in the airport either. I mean, wait till you landed. So there's not really anything for you to do. And because, I don't know, I feel like I have to do like an introduction every time I do these recordings. But really, that is the introduction. So I'm just going to get on with the conversation, whatever the conversation is. Now what I do is I look through, do some research. I've got quite a few books, and I'm always on the lookout for some kind of new, or maybe not new, but a pain relief or chronic pain relief technique that either I haven't done before, because I've done lots over the years since 2006, but just like to test things out. Sometimes it's nice to go back to an old thing that I used to do in person with people, which I did the other day. I did with this frozen shoulder. The thing is, you can, sometimes with a long recording, if I was going to do a hypnosis recording, specifically hypnosis, I would focus probably, well, not necessarily on one part of the body, but there would be just one technique, one thing that I would focus on doing. So if I was going to go through like a guided imagery of your shoulders mobility, or your legs mobility, or something like that, and so I would be very, very focused, possibly on a particular part of the body, and also on the actual technique itself. With these recordings, it's more a case of just delving, dabbling. I like to think of it like a buffet. You just choose what works. You go through, you choose what's right for you. Maybe you're a vegetarian but you don't like cheese. You're a little bit buggered, really, aren't you, if you don't like cheese? Mind you, if you're vegan, you wouldn't eat cheese, would you? So, or if you're a non-vegetarian but you don't like beef. Mind you, some people say, oh, I don't eat pork, it's a dirty animal. Name a clean animal. None of them are clean. Even humans aren't clean. Oh. Okay, don't get me started. So, what we do is we focus, we sometimes focus on a particular technique. In this recording, you've got everything. So if you're vegan, vegetarian, meat eater, fish eater, someone that only eats raw food. Some people do. I've known people that eat, like, literally they'll only eat vegetables that are raw. And he was very tall. I don't know if that was the reason. He was about 6'5", 6'6". But I think he started eating raw vegetables after he'd fully grown. So I don't think that was the reason. I was going to say, otherwise I would start eating raw vegetables, because I could definitely do with a bit of a boost on my height. So, if you think of it like a buffet, I just go through some stuff, discuss it. One of the things I'm really, really fascinated with is time distortion for pain perception. Now, this is something that I first discovered. It was Milton Erickson, or Milton H. Erickson, or Milton H. Erickson, depending on how you want to pronounce it. He actually wrote a book called Time Distortion. I don't know if I've got it. I've read it. I had it in the past. I'm not sure if I've got it now. One of his techniques for people with chronic pain is, or actually people with end-of-life pain, actually. Sometimes people with like serious conditions, that he would get them to basically have the time distortion. So when that physical discomfort came on, time would speed up, so that it would be over and done with in an instant. It's almost like the person going into a trance for however long was necessary, and even may not even be aware that they've done so. Which I find fascinating. I have dabbled with this before in a recording, but I just like the idea. Can you imagine just whenever it's like coming on, whether it's chronic pain, of course I can't really address acute pain, but then there's that fine line with acute pain, because if someone's got, let's say they've got an illness, a disease, which is, it's hard to, like, chronic pain, technically, if it goes over a certain period of time and you still got pain, then it's classed as chronic pain. Or if it's caused by something which is, the pain is not actually helpful, because pain, chronic pain is a danger signal. It's a signal to your brain to let you know, what's a signal from your brain to let you know it's danger. You have to be careful. Now, if you let your brain know that that's not necessary, because it's, arthritis, providing you're careful, is not an issue. It doesn't have to be an issue. As far as, I'm talking about general arthritis, like what I've got. So I've got arthritis in my lower back. I have to be a little bit careful. Yeah, I know that. So I don't need the warnings from the arthritis. And I do not need my arthritis to tell me when it's raining outside. Like, oh, it's a damp day, is it? I can look out the window, mate. I don't need my body to have pain in that situation. And I thought it was an old wives' tale. But generally, like, when it's cold, when it's wet, it seems to be a little bit more agitated. But then we're going to be affected by water, aren't we, when you consider how much of us is actual water, our bodies. I mean, the oceans are affected by the moon. Then it only makes sense that we're going to be affected by things. That's as much as I know about that. But see, an old analogy, if you've got a broken leg, you don't need the pain if you know to keep off it. And after it doesn't take long before the leg starts to just be, if anything, just a bit itchy from the cast, maybe. But if you put weight on it, it lets you know. Like, no. What are you doing? Don't put weight on it. But then if that turns into chronic pain, because that's acute pain, if that turns into chronic pain because the leg's healed, but there's still discomfort there, there's no necessary. If you've been to a doctor, checked it out, there's nothing wrong, then you don't need that. So it's no longer a danger signal. And sometimes the brain thinks it's a danger signal and it's not. Once you let the brain know that it's not a danger signal, and it's not necessary, don't need it. You can just let it go. Might take a bit of reminding. So if you've got chronic pain and you've had it diagnosed that it's fine, there's no reason to have it, or it's due to a condition, but you know about the condition, and that physical discomfort is not necessary because you're going to be careful. Now, if someone's got like a dodgy knee, might need a knee replacement. So, the danger's real, isn't it? Like, it's your basically your body and your brain saying, don't be putting weight on me because this part of my body's damaged. But if you know that it's damaged And if you accept that you need to be careful, and you know what it is, maybe you're waiting to have a replacement operation. My stomach's gurgling now, that's weird. You don't need that discomfort anymore. You don't need to. It's almost like it's pointless because it's not a dangerous situation anymore. It is if you ignore it. But once you acknowledge it and say, okay, you're going to be careful. You definitely don't need it when you're sitting down or lying down or watching TV. And providing you don't put any weight on it, it doesn't need to give you a warning. So there's no danger warning signals necessary for a situation like that. Just like, if you break your finger, of course it's going to hurt. Because it's supposed to. It's like to protect you, to first of all get medical attention, to get it, to acknowledge it. Because if we didn't have pain, there's actually a movie out now called Novocaine, and I've been fascinated with this subject for decades. Some people are born without the ability to feel pain. They don't feel it. And imagine what that would be like in that part of your body that you'd like to feel different in, where just whenever the feeling comes on, it's almost like it switches off for that period. Wow. So, but this is a good movie. It's a bloke that's in The Boys TV show, and so he's a good actor, and they've gone down the direction of being drama and action and all that stuff, and I'm enjoying it. It's good. I've watched about half an hour of it last night. But with a finger, even just a finger, it's the old thing, isn't it? People used to get gangrene in the olden days when they had a break, but it wasn't set back properly, and they get infections, and it's all kinds of stuff. If we ignore things and don't get it seen to, sometimes things can go a bit wrong. But if you've been to the doctor or the hospital and you've had an X-ray and you've got it fixed so that it's in a sling or in a brace or wrapped up, whether it's a break or a cut, or maybe you've been told what it is and you just on a waiting list to get an operation to get it fixed. But there's nothing to worry about, because it's just, you need to be careful. Then this is a question really. In that situation, isn't there an emotional release? Almost like a bit of relief of like, oh, that's what it is. So, no one probably wants to go to hospital and have an operation, but things like knee replacements and stuff thousands and thousands and thousands of those are done every single day, probably just in my country. And I know at least 3 people that have had them, and it's amazing, amazing what they can do. Just wow. I don't think that was even a thing when I was a kid. It might have been, but we didn't really discuss knees very often. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually interested now. When was the first knee replacement? Okay, 1868. I'm not that old. Okay. Okay, here we go. The first was a. Right, the first time it was done properly, like in this country, is 50 years ago, where, like the way it's being done now, 50 years of total knee arthroplasty, bone and joint. So that was since 1980. It's 1980? Yeah, it was developed in 1980. So I guess this was like 55 years now. No. 50 years, 1980? Now 50 years ago is 19... Is it? No, wait a minute. I'm 55 and it's 2025. I was born in 70. So that's 45 years ago. Anyway, it wasn't around people, it wasn't being done when I was little. So I was right. Although the first one had been done a little bit before I was born. 90 years before I was born. So, do we need this? Do we need the discomfort? Is it useful? And that's one of those stupid questions in a way. Like, of course it's not useful. But actually, it is useful in certain circumstances. Especially things like appendix bursting and things like that. Of course it's useful. It's life-saving. So, if someone had the appendix burst and they couldn't feel it, then unless they have medical attention, they're very likely not going to survive that. So, yeah, like, oh, great, I can't feel pain, but no. Sometimes we need to. So, and that's obvious, I had my appendix out. I partly kind of pretended to have appendicitis to get time off school. Didn't realise they were going to operate on me. Oh dear. So, that's something you can decide. That's kind of what I'm thinking about here. It's a bit vague, it's a bit up and down, it's a bit around the houses, this recording, but is the discomfort useful? Is a question. Is there any point to it? Maybe if you do have a dodgy knee which needs, maybe it doesn't need an operation, maybe it's just a dodgy knee. Sometimes I have a dodgy knee. I tried to kneel over the other day. Oh, my kneeling days are over and done with. And before you say, oh, does that mean you have to get a new job? No. Rude. So I'm basically, it's fine to have I've got dodgy knees sometimes. I've got an injured shoulder from like 2005. So that's 20 years I've had an injured shoulder. And it plays up sometimes, but I know what it is, so I'm not bothered. My arthritis in my lower back, it plays up. I'm not bothered. I'm not emotionally bothered by it, usually. Sometimes it can get a little bit, but most of the time, it's like, I know what it is, so what? It's, it's not, I'm not, if I sat here all day long, focusing on it, and going, oh, just moaning, and feeling sorry for myself, then yeah, it would be really way worse than it is. It would feel way worse than it needs to. And I did go for a little period of that a few years back where it was just getting a little bit too much. But then I made a change, it's one of those things. It's okay making recordings for other people, but what about me? What am I doing? I'm making recordings to help people to relax. So am I relaxing? You know, so I've got to take on some of that as well. I mean, I've had a lot of broken bones over the years. And it hasn't really bothered me. It can be annoying. I broke my hand twice. I mean, that's definitely annoying. There's two things I can't really do anymore. And it's just like, okay, I have to kind of well, three things actually, because there's a shower, because I'm right-handed, so there's the four I can't write. There's a lot of things I wasn't able to do for about 5-6 weeks until they were healed. But that's all right. Just get used to it. I mean, likely to go again. Although, funny enough, I've got two bones. Years ago, 2004 is when I broke it the first time. My right hand, and the knuckles compressed basically into the hand. And I had a friend who was a surgeon, and she said, well, she explained what it was. She said, "You've got no knuckle." I said, "Oh no, there's only one. Well, now it's two because I broke the other one." And she said, "Well, if you ever break your hand again, that big one in the middle will go." But it didn't. She was wrong. So yeah, my right hand is a bit deformed because it's been broken twice. But it's all right. Might be arthritic in the future. I don't know. But not bothered. Not, I don't want it to be like that, but I'm not concerned, because just deal with whatever happens. As long as it's not a serious something I need to go and have treatment for, it doesn't worry me. I remember I had this it was a very big awakening. I don't mean like spiritually, but it was 2004. Did I say 2004? 1994 is when I broke my hand the first time. The second time was about 2018, I think. Something like that. When I moved in it, I fell out of the bath and I broke my left wrist. I mean, I'd been in there for about 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Slipped out of the bath. Who does that? It's ridiculous. And I broke my rib. Broke my rib twice, 2 different times. I broke my foot twice, and I fractured my back in 2 places a couple of years ago. I think that's it. Yeah, there's not that many, but yeah, I think that's about it. Oh no, I broke toes. Blimey. Yeah, I broke my toes about 4 times, different toes. So yeah, and I broke my foot twice, like the the top foot, and the heel. Oh, proper. That takes even longer. That seemed to take longer to heal. The heel takes longer to heal, just because I guess I was using it. But anyway, I was sitting in the office of this little shop that I was working in called Evolution, And this is 2004. I was going through huge amounts of anxiety back then. I had to leave my job because of it, and it was basically ruling my life for a while, and I had to work really hard to sort of get it under control. At this point, it was semi under control. I was over the worst of it. So this would be in the summer 2004. And it really started quite badly in 2002, November. So I had over a year of it, like full on. So I'm in this office, I'm at the computer, I might have been cashing up, something like that, for the shop. And I was so aware of all my physical, like my physicality, the parts of my body and stuff, because it's like almost always expecting to have a feeling. And I had a feeling in my groin, and it was a weird feeling, and I went into like a vibration, and I went into full-on panic mode, like full-on anxiety. And I stood up, ready to walk outside to try and get my breath, and realise, this is going to be another half an hour or an hour of me like not being able to function. I realised it was my phone was on vibrate. And that confused me, because it's something, there was no logic. It was such a ridiculous situation that a vibrating phone, and this is quite early days of vibrating phones, well, fairly early, but it was like, wait a minute, and instantly I'm no longer in panic mode. So not only did I realise that something external, I was allowing something external to affect my physical and mental well-being, but also I had the ability to switch off a panic attack instantly. So I didn't realise that it's almost like I'd given power away. When a mobile phone is able to instigate or create or start an unwanted feeling in the body, I kind of given that power away. And as soon as I realised it was a mobile phone, well, I had nothing against the phone. I liked the phone. It was one of those flip ones. I used to love it, pretending I was on Star Trek. Beam me up. I only ever said it when there's no one else around. But I liked it. It was a little bit, could do it with one finger, it's nice. So I didn't have an issue with the phone. And it was one of those really tiny ones as well. That's why I didn't realise it was in my pocket. But knowing that I could, and I didn't stop the panic attack, I didn't stop those feelings in my body instantly, by thinking about it, by having to think about it, by having to do anything. Just by realising that it was the phone, it finished. It ended straight away. And that was a big big turning point. And I realise this recording isn't about anxiety attacks and stuff, but it's still unwanted feelings. Realising that maybe you don't need them. They might not be necessary. Because, you know, if I sat down on a nail and I had a feeling, I'd want to feel it. I mean, I want to feel and I want to sit on a nail. I don't want to have that pain, but I would want to know that it happened so I can scream and get help and, you know, get it sorted. I don't want to be sitting there completely oblivious to it. And then get up and, you know, go back into the shop talking to the customers with blood dripping everywhere. That, you know, that just be grim and dangerous for my health. And slippery for the customers as well, probably. So it got me wondering, how much can the way we think, how much can it affect the physical sensation that you experience just by expectation? Because I was at that time constantly expecting the next horrible feeling. That, I'll be honest, that's what I was expecting, and that's what I was getting. But you flip that on its head and spin it around a little bit. Not too fast, otherwise you have to wait. And that's another thing you can do. You can put a gap between it. A gap between the stimulus and the effect or the feeling. A bit like, you know, on the tubes we got, is it Bank? One of the tubes in London. They're like the underground, like the metro or the subway or whatever. There's different names for it in other countries. So, and there's a gap. So you can't, and if someone says, mind the gap, mind the gap. I'm not sure if it's the same voice as 30 years ago, but it used to be mind the gap. We are, what is it? We are, you are approaching Bank Station, mind the gap. So, I guess some people, if they don't know English, then they're at a disadvantage. However, the gap is quite large. So, I mean, I don't know how often people fall down there, but, you know, you could definitely, like, I don't think I'd be able to fit down, but I've never tried, but my body's a bit bigger than it used to be. But knowing that like that message, mind the gap, is kind of what I noticed. It stayed with me no matter what tube station I was at, whether I was at Tottenham Court Road or at Mile End, in Twickenham, if I was at Stratford, Houston, Notting Hill, Romford, where it's like I would mind the gap. Did I say Romford? Is there a tube station in Romford? I'm not sure. I know there's an overground. But I would always mind the gap, even though they wouldn't say mind the gap in most of those stations. And sometimes having that gap between something happening and then the feeling, just having a little gap. Maybe eventually you could perhaps increase that gap. So, in a sense of, oops, there's this metal thing sticking out my desk, I need to get rid of it. It's like not a cup holder, I guess like a microphone, a headphones holder or something, but it's very annoying. I mean to get rid of it for ages, but it's just, So you got this thing, instead of mind the gap, probably remember the gap. Remember the gap. Remember to have a gap there. So you remember, like, oh, the knee. And instead of instantly going to physical discomfort, you have a gap. And you remember and you think, well, I don't need anything but physical comfort there. Because I know to be careful with it. It's my knee. I love my knee. Or my elbow. Or any part of your body. And that's another thing. Maybe like really start to cherish your body. Because let's face it, it's the only one we've got. I mean, you could argue that, so yeah, okay, so the knee's the only one I got. What about when I get a new one? All right, it's the only one you got at the moment, okay? And in the future, we'll be transplanting everything in the future. Not me personally, but in the future, everything, technology is going to be phenomenal, even more phenomenal than it already is. But right this minute, this is our bodies. This is what we've got. So when you focus on that part of the body that was causing you problems in the past, and you just, okay, remember the gap. What's required here? What's necessary here? Do I have to be careful with this part of the body? Do you need to just be gentle with this part of the body? Or is the fact that that part of your body is absolutely fine, it's just faulty signals, and you don't need to feel anything but comfort there? It's of no benefit to you. It's not protecting you against anything. So therefore, comfort's all you need. And it's weird. It's a little bit. You ever get like a sand castle? Do you ever, when you're a kid, I don't know, some adults might do it, but I used to build sand castles, and there was if I was lucky enough for one of my brothers not to smash it down, but I'd build a sandcastle. I'd like to build it near the sea and watch the sea come in and just basically wash it away to nothing. And sometimes it feels a little bit like that because you think about it, that part of your body that's been causing problems in the past, it's like a sandcastle, but it's like it's on some kind of little island, a little bit, and basically it's in the middle of two different oceans. So it's on a beach that's shared with two different oceans, or maybe four, for all angles, and that's the other parts of your body that feel fine. So, for example, with my lower back, my hips feel fine, My upper back feels fine. The other side of my lower back feels fine. My legs feel fine. My hands feel fine. My bum feels fine. It's it's weird to say that out loud, but you know what I mean. So the one bit which has been problematic that in the past was the lower back on the left hand side. And that's kind of like a castle that I've been almost trying to protect for some reason. Well, protecting because I want it to be safe. But if you realise it is already safe and you don't actually have to do anything, then the sea will come in and just spread over that castle, and the feelings from the other parts of your body will just flow over it, almost to get that part feeling the same as the rest of your body. I quite like that idea. Quite like that idea that in a sense you remove that separation. And when I think about getting up from this chair, you know, I know that sometimes, you know, I might think, oh, watch out for my back. So that's when the gap comes in. It's like, wait a minute, my back's fine. My back's all right. I can stand up. I can sit down. I can stand up. There's no reason for me not to be able to just move around and do what I would normally do. I don't think I'm going to be a rock climber anytime soon, and kicking's pretty much out. There's certain things I can't do, but I know that, and it's okay. My stomach knows that as well. My stomach's like, feed me. Like, blimey. If it isn't Vinny disturbing me, it's my own gut. It's ridiculous. So having that realization, and it can be, some would say it's a choice. It could just be a choice. Like, you know what? Choose to feel relaxed. And no longer give away that control to something else. Like I'd give my control over to a mobile phone vibrating in my pocket to stimulate a panic attack. I mean, come on. That was just... And I laughed afterwards. But it woke me up to the fact that actually, how real is a panic attack? I'm not saying they're fake or anything, because it absolutely crumbled my life for a little while. Well, for over a year. But if something can come on and then vanish so very quickly, what else can also vanish very, very quickly? What else that isn't needed can just disappear if it's not needed? You know, so sometimes it might feel like, well, we'll make a deal. If I need you, I'll ask. Or if I do something, you know, you make a deal with that part of your body. If you do something that's harmful towards that part of your body, then please return that physical discomfort. Outside of that, just feel relaxed in that part of your body. Feel calm and loose in that part of your body. I mean, you could also, or you could imagine yourself writing a contract or signing a contract that is it. From now on, from this moment onwards, you're going to stick to your side of the bargain. You're going to be careful. So, for example, I cannot kick. I could if in an emergency I would be able to, but I can't. I had to give up doing taekwondo because of my back, and I couldn't go back to that. It's as simple as that. It's just, it's a physical movement, continuous. That's just I can't uphold with my left. What is a left leg thing really, rather than right leg thing? Mind you, both kicking both legs affects, it uses the back. But if I'm careful, it's fine. And that's all it is. I do exercises every day to stretch it and to strengthen, keep my lower back strengthened. But you know, it's kind of like I've got I didn't really think about it like this before. It's like I've got an unsaid contract, an unwritten contract. So maybe you could have the same kind of thing yourself, where you make peace. I think sometimes you need to make peace with that part of your body. So instead of, because sometimes it, like, you know, if you're trying to stop something from happening. So let's say you got something the other side of the door and you're pushing the door, and the harder they push, the harder you push, and it just gets, well, there's no winners. It's kind of like, you know, you're both struggling, or what is it, rope fight, you know, when you got, what do they call it, a rope fight, tug of war, where you kind of just, it's going nowhere. Or someone with equal strength doing an arm wrestle. Eventually they've just got to say, okay, we'll just call this a day. Perhaps we don't need this anymore. There's an old thing, it's I saw this at a workshop once. They said, put your hands together. Now push with your right hand. And every single person, including myself at the time, pushed with the right hand, but also pushed with the left hand, stopping the right hand from moving. When actually, push with your right hand means you just don't do anything with your left hand. So seems to be a tendency of humans to do that, almost to push against ourselves instead of with. So that restriction, you know, if it's like a constant restriction, I don't want to feel that way, I don't want to feel that way, that body feels this, I don't want it to be like that. And then that part of the body's thinking, well, you're not listening to me, are you? So I've got to keep doing it until you listen. I've got to keep giving you this physical discomfort until you listen to me and do what you're supposed to do. Take me seriously. But when you do listen, take it seriously, realize that maybe there's some things that you need to change. Maybe there isn't. You can take it seriously. If it's been checked out, you've taken it seriously. If there's nothing physically necessarily going on, it's where you don't need it anymore. Maybe it's something that you had before and now it's healed, and you don't need it. Or if you know the cause of it and it's unnecessary, you know that you're going to be careful. So all that's necessary is physical comfort, and the rest of your body surrounding that area can just, like with a sandcastle, just wash over and also sort of spread that feeling overwards. So it's almost like it's joining the body again. Then the rest of the body looks out for it. So for me, I feel like I've done that with my lower back, and instead of being isolated, it's no longer isolated. So the other parts of my back look out for my lower back. My hips look out for my lower back. The other side of my lower back looks out for it. Like everything's kind of just, I guess, loving in a way. It might sound a bit soppy, but the body's loving each part. Your knees loving your hands. Your feet are loving your ankles. You know, they're connected. The whole thing's connected. It's one thing. You know, we call things different things, but it's one. It's literally one thing. And I think it's quite nice when you think about that, because there's a time when, you know, you get a puppy or a kitten, you no longer hold it in your hands. You have to let it down. You have to let it go. I don't mean let it go, but you have to put it down. You can't. You take a puppy home with you or a kitten. You can't hold it in your hands forever, no matter how much you want to. You know, you want to keep it safe. You want to cuddle it, and let's face it, a little kitten is like, what's cuter than a little kitten? Or a little puppy. They're just so cute. It's so cute. I suppose some people, a baby, you know, but you don't carry them around 24 hours a day. You put them down. You put them into a bed. You put, you know, otherwise, you need to have that little bit of distance and allow it to just be itself, and allow it, that part of your body, to realize that it is supported by its surroundings. Allow that part of your body to know that it's safe. It doesn't have to do anything. Just be there. And for it to know that you appreciate it. Maybe your body appreciates you, because now you're looking after it, and all that discomfort you used to have was you looking after that body part. But it's not necessary, because that contract that you signed in your mind, the comfort's all you need, and providing you treat your body safely, with love, with care, you can feel comfortable and relaxed and loose and peaceful. Now I've rabbited on for a bit, which is what I do. I don't know if any of this was useful. So, where are you now? If you focus on that part of the body, we did the 0 to 10 scale earlier at the beginning. Where is it now? And how much has it changed? How much has it gone down? How pleased are you? How relaxed are you? And please let me know how you get on. So I'm going to bring this recording to an end. Remember to be kind to yourself because you do deserve to be happy. Be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.